Welcome, Shivani. It is live. Please start.
Thank you, Shabana. Thank you, Maven. And Rajveer, you are there. So thank you once again to be here. And it's a lot of encouragement as well. So, today we just getting back to the subject which we thought about to discuss today was life and purpose. Now, it's very simple, but at the same time, I guess it's huge, it's deep, and it's very relevant uh, in today's time to reflect on this and like really reflect in all its honesty with oneself. So that's the reason, one thought that we by when I given out the opportunity, we kind of reflect on what is life and what's the life purpose. Now, uh, you know. Uh, before I can kind of elaborate and get into, I'll just touch upon the thought of why, when I say why it's very important in today's time. Today we are seeing, and it's for all generations, especially the Generation Z and the millenniums, and as well as across other, segments of age group. As human beings, I would say, rather than even classifying it into age groups, broadly, when one runs across the ecosystem, and yes, we have kind of, we've done a lot of development. We have many of us are, gone too deep into uh, attaining various kinds of degrees and certificates. And yes, in their all capacities, apparently or in all its reality, doing great work. But the whole point where one thought about this topic or this thing to kind of reflect and discuss and share with all of you guys was that if and whatever is being projected or is being talked about, that everything is like really going to heights, why there is an increasing level of uh, unhappiness, anxiety, uh, dissatisfaction, discontentment, the desire for more and more and more. This is at an individual level, but if we talk about it at a broader ecosystem level, the widening gap between the haves and the have nots, we can talk about within our country, India, as well as globally, of all these factors. The, the increasing level of all kinds of vandalism and all kinds of uh, discouraging, threatening, shameful incidences coming to us all the time from various platforms. The challenges of health, which increasingly today we are kind of either facing for self or getting across to here in the ecosystem. So that made a kind of question mark to me, that if there is so much of success, there's so many CEOs and youngsters talking about unicorns and billionaires, making wrapping up their life at 25, 35, right? Why there is so much of chaos and so much of unhealthy stuff happening? And that boiled down to a question within myself, that what is the purpose. Like, I've been into corporates, right? I'm still aligned with corporates, but yes, my alignment has shifted a little bit. I'm now very clear that I'll be part of things where there is a purpose with a larger alignment to universe and humanity. It's for a And yes, even if it is for an individual or for a product, it is something where you are not justifying yourself to do certain things in a certain way, understanding that it's not the most acceptable and ethical pathway to walk in your life. And that is where, I felt that, what is this life and what is it was it its what's the purpose it holds. मतलब क्या उसका purpose है? Is it to be successful? Is it to just have name, fame, billions and millions at any cost? Because that's what it is. I want ROIs at any cost. I want to live a great life comfortably at any which way. So is that what is our purpose of our life? Or as an individual, I question myself that, is it important to step on somebody and then rise? Is it important to have that huge extra level of wealth at any cost, or be seen, be heard, be listened? But for what? For why? Is that the purpose? Is that the purpose of getting a PhD? For me, I did, one did get into it also, but then I said, my purpose is not to get a job out of it. Yeah, there are a lot of people who were talking about that, your subject matter, your knowledge is very deep. Even if you just sit down and write, it will be equal to do a research and get a doctorate. I said, fair enough. But my journey was not to achieve that for certain outcomes in life. Like, when we study, while we grow up, what is the kind of messaging we are being given? Is it to become, is it to have a strong character, to grow up with values and principles? Contribute to yourself first, your family, and then the larger kutum, Vasudhaiva Kutum, the universe, your country, with a purpose? Or the the messaging, the upbringing, the awareness, the information which is coming in different ways is something else. Is it taking us to be, just at any cost, I have to reach there, have this much, any which way, and then justify it? So these were the, thoughts, where one thought that, a life and purpose, it is important for us to reflect for ourselves. It is not to get onto a platform and debate about it and justify yourself. No, it's not for justification for the world, and it's neither for the justification for yourself. You need to be, it's not to justify anything, it's to face it squarely. First for yourself, then for your family, for a larger ecosystem, then for your country, and then otherwise. Likewise, what are we doing with the nature? What is happening to farmers? What is happening to agriculture? Is it just for us limited to going to uh, uh, big malls because I have money, somewhere sourcing very good so-called now organic food because I can afford it, and yes, I'm happy. I have 15 air conditioners in my house, so I am not bothered about the the climate impact which is happening. So somewhere I found that it is very important to kind of really address these things, uh, whether it is about even as I said, it is from the universe and climate and plants and trees perspective, the amount of plastic consumption we are having in our daily life. One, it is harming us for sure, but then it's also adding to the ecosystem. So I just felt that unless and until we kind of really address these things straight on at a larger level, like I talked about the climate. Now, how is it impacting nature? We have faced it as well, by being shut into the rooms for a year or so. Now, when you reflect about the business of getting everything at your home, at a call, it is being advertised that you can get everything at your home. Now, do we ever, as so-called highly educated, highly literate, highly successful, extremely wealthy people realize that how much pollution that is creating? Leave apart the contribution you're making in just making a force which is just ending up to be drivers, nothing more than that, runners. One is that as a human, what are you contributing in making another human being really go up there? The second is on the nature. So much of petrol is getting wasted and it's adding to the climate. Now, that's one aspect. The other aspect is from the economic aspect. How much of our foreign exchange is going into this? And keeping all that in mind, we are celebrating such businesses. We are in awe of such people who have founded and set up. So this question has was looming to me that is this the purpose? Should I also open a startup and have this kind of a platform and then do good advertising, get certain downloads and all that things we do? And I say, oh, yeah, I've done a great work. I've reached somewhere in life. Will that will that fructify me as having a purpose and achieving my purpose? So it is on these. I mean, they are. I've touched primarily on the economic aspect, on the health aspect, on the climate aspect, on an individual basis, on the global aspect as well. The happiness index I did speak to last time. Where we are all. The increasing disparity between the haves and the have-nots. So it just felt to me that leave apart life and purpose, which is like a huge, big, uh, you know, hemisphere. Even if I come to think about from the time of independence, was independence achieved by by the greats like Bhagat Singh and all laying their life for this independence? Is this the growth and development we are like really proud about? And we should like really be there up, so that really pulled me to kind of get into it. So yes, it seems very simple and a topic, but yes, it is very simple in one way, but at the same time the most simple things are the most tough things. Like I was just reading yesterday somewhere that silence gives all the answers, but to be in silence, one is verbally not talking, the other is in your mind, is the toughest job. So yeah, the most simple things are the most toughest to walk, right? Walk the path, right? Or walk the talk. And so when I was like today, contemplating on how to kind of bring this subject here, this was, the context and the background which probably made me zero in to deliberate on today. Uh, Now, I just kind of uh, uh, put down certain quotes uh, by by well known names, and I thought it would be good to kind of bring that up, to all the Maven listeners and readers. So, just to share that, and then I will just get back again to kind of discuss that. There's some beautiful quotes which I came across, and it's one of them is by Winston Churchill. It says, "It's not enough to have lived. We should be determined to live for something." Then there's the other one is by Dalai Lama. It says, "People take different roads, seeking fulfillment and happiness. Just because they are not on your road doesn't mean they have gotten lost." So, the quotes which I've kind of compiled here, there's a quite a deep in it thought process, and the reason I brought them here is that this can make each one of us and whoever listens to it later will get some time to reflect upon it for oneself, because the charity begins at home, it is said, right? So it all starts with oneself. The other one is by Michael D. Montage. The soul which has no fixed purpose in life is lost. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. Now, I would just like to bring here the point that, see, these are thoughts by all who have done great, but it's not necessarily that with all of them we agree or we don't agree, right? It is all about to go through them, see, and kind of contemplate for oneself with all awareness, with all mindfulness, with all awakening, you know. So, like this one, I kind of could not relate it, but I thought to share it for sure. One thought that, it's I may not relate with it, but nevertheless, it's good to share. Then we have the other one from Jack Canfield. Says, if you can tune into your purpose and really align with it, setting goals so that your vision is an expression of that purpose, then life flows much more easily. Is Shabana sharing the slides to all of you?
Not yet. If you want, I
Okay,
can.
so I'm getting on to the next slide, 9. So this is by Thomas Carroll. It says, the person without a purpose is like a ship without a rudder. So right now on the screen, yeah, now it's come. So the other one is by Charles Dickens. It says, the best way to lengthen out our days is to walk steadily and with a purpose. Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by lack of meaning and purpose. This is by Viktor Frankl. If you can't figure out your purpose, figure out your passion. For your passion will lead you right into your purpose. Bishop T.D. Jakes. The other one is by Robert Byron. Fairly simple but very tough. It says, the purpose of life is a life of purpose. The secret of success is constancy to purpose. So we move on to the other slide, 11th number. Uh, can I, Shabana, request you to move on to the 11th, just the next one after this? It's a continuation of the quotes. Yeah, thank you. Uh, this is, appreciate where you are in your journey, even if it's not where you want to be. Every season serves a purpose. I found this very beautiful, Probably I'm somewhere able to relate with it, to be very honest. Uh, then it's by the other one by Roy T. Bennett. Believe in your heart that you are meant to live a life full of passion, purpose, magic, and miracles. Again, a very beautiful one. This is a lot which we talk about or practice in our meditation and in living a mindful life. So, that it is relating to that a lot, that believe in your heart that you are meant to live a life full of passion, purpose, magic, and miracles. Somewhere very early, I think I at Maven only I had shared about some mantra sessions were there, and at that time I had shared about the mantra which I kind of learned about Shirdi Sai Baba, and in that it says, you know, Shraddha and Saburi. This quote reminds me of that, which is Shraddha means having the faith and the trust, and Saburi means patience. So it somewhere kind of relates with that. And when we kind of get into all the occult practices or in the so-called living life in with consciously or meditation and all, this kind of aligns with that very beautifully. The other one is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. Says the purpose of life is not to be happy; it is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference that you have lived and lived well. Roy T. Bennett says if you have a strong purpose in life, you don't have to be pushed. Your passion will drive you there. Then we get on to the next slide. This is by Buddha, and it says your purpose in life is to find your purpose and give your whole heart and soul to it. I want to live my life in such a way that when I get out of bed in the morning, the devil says, "Oh shit, he's up." That's by Steve Marabol. And that I can say is very much aligned to the today's contemporary uh, environment and ethos which is there. The other one by Dan Brown, it says, nothing is more creative, nor destructive than a brilliant mind with a purpose. Very, very well said. A brilliant mind with a purpose can be very creative, but at the same time, if you don't have that balance, you don't have that calm and easiness, that mindfulness, it can have the other repercussions, and it can be very destructive, first for yourself and then for the world at large. Then you have one by Rumi. It says, be a lamp or a lifeboat or a ladder. Help someone's soul heal. Walk out of your house like a shepherd. Then we have the other one by John Wolfgang von Goethe. Says the greatest thing in this world is not so much where we stand as in what direction we are moving in. The last is the purpose of life is not to be happy, but to matter, to be productive, to be useful, to have it make some difference that you lived at all. That's by Leo Roston. And the last one by Nietzsche is he who has a why to live can bear almost an anyhow. So, these were some quotes. And then if I thought that, this probably will give us something because this is a mixture of a lot of earlier people who have done great and some contemporary. And it probably will give all of us a peep into reflect with the present day context, which I began with. And as I said, it's not to get into debates and justification, but in all honesty with oneself, and then see how do we align ourselves, our life ahead, with all awareness, with all awakening and awesomeness, because once you do that, awesomeness will have. Awesomeness is obviously feeling quite rejuvenated, happy, smiling, sunshine within yourself and outwardly. So, and if we kind of get back from, if we correlated this with, the supreme, the life lesson which gives us Bhagavad Gita. So I thought we really can't miss on Bhagavad Gita. So if we get on to the slide, which is the slide second, Shabana, just wanted to request if you can bring it onto the slide second, the beginning of the presentation. The next, yeah, thank you. And I was just trying to analyze the quotes shared with all of you, and then I kind of thought about Bhagavad Gita to bring in. And so Bhagavad Gita says, we all know probably, but I just thought to kind of bring that forth because all these things are important to be revived within us, day in and day out. So it's Krishna says that the purpose of life is not material success or personal happiness. Now, I probably have a point of contention here, to be very honest, because yes, material success is not the purpose of life, but personal happiness may not be the ultimate, but you know, I would not probably like to put the word personal happiness. Yes, life purpose is not to have material success, is to an extent understandable. And then it says, but to realize one's true nature, surrender to the divine, and perform selfless actions, ultimately achieving liberation from the cycle of suffering. So it says that's what Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, probably it's like a not a very verbatim explanation, but it's kind of an overall perspective. It's been picked up, and then it says that when it says that you have to self-realize, it's self-realization in Gita is that to understand that we are not just this physical bodies, but rather eternal soul. And this eternal soul, what is the purpose of that? So that's where it says the life purpose is not about just material success, to have that name, fame, and be on the papers and be a billionaire and a millionaire, whereas the world is going to dogs. So that's not what is this purpose. Then it says, how do you, one is by self realization, and then it says, surrender to the divinity. So that's what it says, surrender to Krishna. So it says that the surrender to Krishna, the supreme being, is the crucial for breaking free from the cycle of birth and death and achieving liberation. Now, this surrender to supreme being is also a huge, huge uh, journey in itself. Uh, like the mantra which I just said just now about which comes from Sai Baba, the trust, faith, and surrender. Patience. Trust, faith, क्या है? Surrender है ना? जब आप surrender, what is trust and faith? Surrender. Surrender to the divinity within. Surrender to the divinity outside. Because it's not just you who has all the divinity and the pureness. Because all the atmas are a part of Supreme Atma, right? So that divinity is outside as well, and somewhere you have to surrender to that. Like when I am you know attending some class, I need to surrender to that time, and then I can probably see and get some light from there. Then it talks about the paths to surrender. How do you surrender? Just I was talking about, that Krishna says that two ways, right? One is the surrender, and the other is self-realization that we are Atma. Now, how do you follow the path of surrender? One is by knowledge, understanding the nature of reality and the self. The second is by karma. So, karma yoga, which is selfless action. performing duties without attachments to the benefits, outcome, phal ki ichha kiye bina. Bhakti yoga, cultivating love and devotion to Krishna. So these are the three parts. So it's basically summarizing that the first quote of the Bhagavad Gita, which are on purpose of life, which is not to have material success or happiness, but to realize one's true nature, surrender to the divinity. The true nature is that we're not just body, we are Atma. Surrender to the divinity. Now, how do they do that? Either by knowledge, by selfless karma, or by the following by bhakti and devotion, and perform selfless actions to ultimately get liberation of the cycle of death and birth. So it says, how do you follow that path of dharma? So that is, your duty, your karma, with all sincerity, dedication, and contributing to the greater good. So it's not just the good for yourself, but unless and until it's not for the greater good, unless and until the creation of wealth is not with the right thought process and it reaches to the larger ecosystem, I don't know if it is following a life purpose. Uh, so under that, it says that, that it says detachment and non-attachment. So you have to, like, if I'm doing this or if I've set up something, it should not be that, okay, from this, there is an ulterior motive that I will gain name, fame, funds for myself. So moment the intent has to be very clear to oneself. So that's what it says, the detachment and non attachment from the fruits of our actions, focusing on the action itself rather than the outcome. Living in the present, that is the present, abhi is shan. Learning from the past rather than, remembering and kind of, there I see this sometimes this rhetoric goes up and that this happened and this will happen. Now, I don't think the Gita says that, the past is to do that. Past is to learn and make your present address that in that way. Just because my mother-in-law misbehaved with me is not the path ahead for me to misbehave with my daughter-in-law, because that has happened and that will happen. So I'm just giving an example in a very common way, but it is with a very broader sense. Just because in my corporate life I faced problems from my bosses, or I faced harassment, or I faced whatever not very good things, it's not necessary to pass on that in my journey ahead. It's to learn and not then follow that, at least for yourself. If you cannot bring that change to the wider ecosystem for whatever reasons, at least you don't follow that path. Uh, and then preparing for the future, then compassion and kindness. You know, now I think when I'm talking about all these things, we all work, right? We work at our homes, we work outside. Somewhere it's giving very beautiful, messages from that perspective as well, because we all have to walk into some place to work. And that's where the thought process for me happened, my life and what is the purpose. And am I walking on a right path? Because, okay, it's not my company. I can't control many things, but I have to work to live this life. But then at what cost and to what extent I would cross that line to somehow survive in that job. I'm talking from a common man perspective. I'm not talking about right now the people who are the founders and the CEOs that I touched upon in the beginning. Fine, I'm a CEO. I've hired 10,000 people to run bikes and give samosas and chutneys to every house. Now I may justify that it's a great model, but yes, as a CEO, I should think that, is this the right purpose of my life? Am I contributing or am I adding value to the climate? Am I adding value to the 10,000 people by just reducing them to be just drivers? Am I bringing value to my people who are working by hiring one day 10,000 and just after 1 year uh, handing them all resignations that my company is not doing well? So that is at a higher level. But if we talk about at a common man level, we are walking into somebody's organization to work. Now it is not in our hand to kind of question that what you are doing, why are you doing, is it right or not? But or many a times we are told that no, you have to do this, boss, you have to get results. But we should question at some time that to what extent we will go to that. Like nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of advertisements on TV or in social media, in YouTube, in lot of places, which are blatantly selling insurance policies by selling deaths, etc. Now, is that right? Is that a right vibration to the ecosystem? We are all the time talking about lot of health. All the time in YouTube channel you will have this problem, that this happening, that happening, this, that. Is it right? What are we vibrating into the ecosystem? We talk about vibration has a huge, immense importance when we get into areas like meditation, self awareness, and we get into such topics, we do vibration and all that, right? Now what are we doing when we are talking about all these things, and there are hundreds and thousands of people uh, you know uh, making such videos, they are getting likes, they are getting views. uh, is that what the life purpose is, and is it being served rightly? So then it says the eternal connection, which is the eternal consciousness, connecting with the eternal consciousness, understanding that we as Atma are a part of Paramatma, and that the ultimate purpose of life is to realize a unity with that divinity, right? So how will we connect with that divinity? Because that divinity is very pure, very forgiving, very peaceful. It's an it's it's how will we merge with that supreme light? So that's on eternal connection. Then it says the importance of action. Hamare karm ka, like just now I was saying, that what are we doing all the time? This is from the point from people who are doing it. Now the other aspect is people who are watching it all the time. So is that is what your life purpose is? The importance of self reflection. This is what probably I was doing right now, which is self reflection. The Gita encourages individuals to reflect on their actions and their consequences and to strive for self improvement. See, because, running away from something, getting into debates, justifying that I am right is all very good. You may justify, you may win also that justification. But at the end of the day, how do you finally align yourself for yourself? Inside, internally, and externally. So whereas yes, we can criticize the world a lot that yes, there is that we are doing this. These companies are what are they doing, or what are we people doing in online? So yes, that is one part. But then the other part is to reflect on oneself, what we as individuals are doing. First, what we are doing, and if we are parents, if we are whatever, we are at some position of authority, of status, what are we encouraging, or what we are just shying away from even talking about or bringing to public? So I think it's all under reflection, self reflection, because it needs to understand until that self within cannot do that. It's 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 not going to go anywhere, because I can sit and justify myself as the most beautiful and the most honest and the most pious person on earth, right? But at the end, it's not about justification, because we all have to face ourselves in the mirror, right? uh, then the Gita encourages individual to seek their unique purpose, align their actions with it, and perform their duties with dedication and integrity. Lord Krishna emphasizes that fulfilling our responsibilities in the right spirit is essential regardless of the outcomes. I think, so this is what, one of the most revered, one of the most known, reflected upon uh, Bible of life, I would say, says. And it is for, it would be in other, holy and religious books as well, like the Bible and the Quran, but I've not kind of ventured over there. So, once we went through the quotes on life and purpose, and we also went through, the Gita, and somewhere you can see that uh, what Gita has said and talked about Lord Krishna way back, and how in the different insights which have been given by stalwarts of the time in different areas. Some are philosophers, some are administrators, some are in different fields. It reflects, Thank you, Minuji, for messaging that it's a beautiful discussion. So, getting back, I always love to get back to the practicality aspect of it, So, what I started with is what where, I would like to bring in again, that it is very important that we reflect in the present day context, because we are not in the Gita era, we are not in Lord Krishna's era, we are neither in the era of Winston Churchill or a lot of people quotes I have talked about. We are in today's time, and yes, in today's time where the the flow of topics and subjects which take you to the which take you to the path of knowing your chakras, getting your chakras awakened, uh, yoga, yogic kriyas, knowing your past, knowing your present. So a lot of these therapies and a lot of these uh, practices, and then you have another stream of coaches, mentors. There are spiritual coaches. There's a combination of CEO and spiritual gurus like sadgurus and all. So you have a lot of this momentum happening. At one level you have Shri Ravi Shankar and sadgurus and all those. Then you have the other level where there are a lot of other people who have transition from a particular life of a typical working corporate life or a typical other life, and moving into this direction by experiencing, claiming to experience some awakening and all, and they doing a lot of stuff. So there are a lot of self gurus, etc. But at the end of the time, we all have to somewhere reflect within ourselves that what are we doing, and if it is so right, then why isn't that needle shifted a little bit? Why that gap has widened? Whether we talk in that spiritual space, or we talk in the hardcore corporate economic space, or we talk about in the cultural area, or we talk about in any other sector. There are many NGOs today. There is a huge influx of social organizations, foundations. Some are working in the nature aspect, some are working in the agricultural aspect, some are working towards upliftment of downtrodden people who have been left. Yes, there are for sure people who are doing great work It's not here to deny that, but somewhere the point to reflect that, yeah, some may have found their purpose in doing that, right, in the most honest way, without any attachment, without any without any worldly aspirations from it. But how many, and what are we, and where are we floating in it? Because it's not necessary that we all start becoming gurus and we all start preaching and we all start opening our NGOs. It's not possible. We all just, like we are taught, start your videos, do this, and then you will get clients. So it's not, we have to reflect somewhere that हमारे जीवन का क्या पर्पस होता है, ये जीवन, this life, what is this purpose of this life? And then we can get back to ourselves, that what, this is my life. Suppose I'm not, like, there is a quote which was there, I found it, I did say that also. It was a very good quote. Appreciate, everybody may not be successful, everybody may not be able to open an NGO, but in whatever capacity you are in, at least have that awareness to not willingly walk a path which is not the true purpose of life itself. At least have that value, that principles, that character, you know so that's why I love this quote, which says, appreciate where you are in your journey, even if it is not where you want to be. Every season serves a purpose. So it's not necessary that I also start a video, a channel, and I also start talking about and collecting and sharing, because uh, one is that, in the true sense, uh, you need to we have to answer and question ourselves on that, I would say. We all have to do karmas. We are born for that, right? But is the purpose of this life, before thinking for ourselves, we have to think about this जीवन, जिसको बोले ये जीवन मिला है, राइट, इस जीवन का क्या उद्देश्य है? So I think, what we have gone through all of this is that, it is to be conscious about yourself, that you are a part of the supreme soul. What is that supreme soul all about? What is this universe all about? And then align yourself and your work in that direction. Yeah, you may in that path follow a work which you may not like initially, but then, like, we had a session on calling in life. So calling sometimes is not necessary that, you may zero in on your calling in the very beginning, but that awareness, that at least my purpose is to be a part of worthy, meaningful, value driven stuff, which is for me first, but it is aligned with the larger purpose of the universe and humanity. Wealth creation, yes, for sure. For us, yes, but wealth creation with a larger purpose as well. Now, what is that larger purpose is to be understood very carefully. Is it to kind of finish off the mountains, the glaciers start melting at a nature level, or is it to at a very practical economic level? Is it to drain away a country's human ethos and its foreign exchange? Is it to harm or is it to encourage cultivation, farming, agriculture, which nurtures, doesn't harm the soil itself, which is giving us? Or is it based on seeing how do we bring out per hectare so much of yield at any cost? Is it, we all want uh, food, very good quality of food at the least amount. So we all will want to buy 1 kg of potato, good potato for if given an opportunity for rupees 10 or 20. But we are willing to buy a rupees 20 chips packet by a multinational company which will not even have 20 wafers. And we celebrate the CEOs and the founders of such company on public platform that they are doing a great work. Now that's one aspect, that what are you giving? What is the purpose? And look at the other fallout, the plastic which is adding into the into this ecosystem. The repercussions on our health is for sure there. But that's what I'm saying. It's important to reflect on all these things. Wealth creation, amassing of wealth for myself and for my family. So what is it finally leading to? So I think I would finish it with these thoughts for everyone to debate, to discuss, to think about. There's nothing like black and white, so nothing is like very wrong and right, as was mentioned in one of the quotes by Dalai Lama, that just because it is not walking on the path you think is right doesn't mean that the person is right, wrong. But at the same time, it is important to reflect from at an individual atma level, and even at the paramatma level, at a universe level. So I'm not giving here answers that what is the purpose, life and purpose, but yes, it's different directions. And so I'm leaving it here with the thoughts. And thank you, Maven. Thank you, Shabana. Thank you, everyone who's at the moment here. And to everyone, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Any questions are there, or anybody would like to share anything? Would be great to hear, listen, and understand that perspective as well.
Yeah, sure. I think Rajwin, Minaji, do you want to share?
Okay, so my hypnotherapist once said that align your life. Your life is aligned with purpose. Your life is aligned with alignment. Your life is aligned with purpose and alignment. You're about to create something meaningful. So live with purpose, live with alignment. And that's why I think I'm getting all the, I'm getting all the detoxification yesterday and today. My stomach
Yes.
is really painful. I think it's like a detox.
Yes, yes, for sure. The moment you internally, that's why I said it's very important to reflect with oneself. And the moment you do that, the universe creates those, vibrations and brings you to that point, and you start feeling that.
Yeah, that's what my hypnotherapist also said that you are about to uh, create something meaningful, live your life with purpose, and start focusing on yourself.
Yes, correct. Very true.
And um, I like the way you can you repeat one of the quotes that you shared? Sorry for asking.
Yeah, no, no. I love this quote which said, appreciate where you are in your journey, even if it is not where you want to be. Every season serves a purpose. Now, this, Rajveer, if you remember, we talk about a lot today about living with gratitude. So this is somewhere aligned to that, that every moment, every second, feel blessed, feel lucky, be in gratitude. Like, you remember that Prema madam once said when I was finishing the session, she said, Shivani, I also, say thanks when I go to the bathroom and do my bathroom. Now, that was an amazing thought as well, because we take granted our body, our cells. We need to be thankful to that as well. That every cell
Yes.
of our body is working towards making us function our life
No,
so
I
beautifully.
as a laughter yoga teacher and as a laughter my hypnotherapist also always taught me this. And my founders of laughter yoga always taught me this. Every little cell of the body is happy, healthy,
Yes.
and well.
Yes, yes. So that is what this quote is somewhere saying, that also only, that appreciate where you are in your journey. That is, be in appreciate, the higher potential of that word of appreciate is be in gratitude, or wherever you are in your life, even if it is not where you want to be. Like, if suppose I've not found a purpose of my life, I'm not doing anything, I feel that, but still be in gratitude, still be in love, still be in that humbleness, feel that you are blessed, feel that you are lucky. So I found this, that because it says every season serves a purpose, maybe this point in my life is having a purpose which I am not able to see right now. Like, many times you say that, this disturbed me or that, maybe you are not able to see the larger purpose, but that power, that supreme soul, once you surrender, now it also talks about surrender, right? Having that trust and faith. So that's the reason I love this quote. And it somewhere resonates very strongly with that philosophy of being in gratitude, being in surrender. And surrender or being in gratitude definitely is not all about not doing any work, not at all.
Yeah.
It just says that, it just means that whatever you are doing, or whatever life is bringing to you, just have the complete faith and trust and surrender to yourself, within yourself, and to that power, because you are ultimately the part of that supreme power, and don't let that supreme power down. That power will be there for you. You just need to be as close to that purity and that honesty as much as possible. So, Rajveer, I think I
Answered
repeated
my
that quote
question.
which you wanted me to say. So
Yeah.
that was a quote which I felt was beautiful. And yes, the Dalai Lama quote is very good, because he says it's not necessary that somebody is not following the path defined by someone else. It doesn't mean that that person is not following its own way.
Thank you, Shivani. It was really wonderful. And you covered it so well. And Meena ji has already left comment, like, because she,
Thank you, Shabana. Thank you.
thank you so much. It was really wonderful. And we look forward to hearing more from you in the next